In this Golf Smart Insight, we're going to talk about the relationship between the body and the arms. So I'm going to give you a fun little exercise that I got from Peter Costas at the World Golf Fitness Summit a couple of years back. So you're going to get up out of your chairs if you can, otherwise you're going to wait and do it later. But here's a little example to illustrate whether you should be thinking about your arms, your body, or what. Okay? So you're going to imagine that you're standing in front of a blackboard and you got an eraser in your hand. Okay? And there's chalk all over the blackboard and you're going to try to clean it up. Okay? So basically you're going to start with one as a baseline where you're just going to move your arm kind of in wax on, wax off type circles, and you're just going to do it nice and smoothly, and you just want to pay attention to your body. Okay? I kind of feel how it's moving there. Now, option one, you're going to try to do it faster. Okay, so I'm going to say just focus on getting the hand and the eraser to move as fast as you can. Okay, it's going to be a little bit like a body blade type thing. You're going to get a little core workout. So you're moving all over, cleaning the blackboard. Okay, good. Option two, now what I'm going to have you do is you're going to try and move your arm the same just relaxed pace you were doing before, but you're going to try to move your hips to speed up your arm. So you're going to try to time exactly when to move your hips. And if you're anything like most people who I've done this with, you'll look like I just did, a little uncoordinated. So the way that the brain tends to work is based on some neural input and things like that. Well, your hands have a ton of neural sensors to them. So we have these pathways to help control where my hands are, where if you start with your attention more in your hips, it can be a little bit trickier to try to then connect it back to your arm if your attention isn't there. So here's where this makes sense with golf. A lot of golf instruction has drifted more into what the body's doing, right? Well, the problem with that is we don't have a ton of neural input there. We have a lot of neural input in the hands. So if you can learn how to get your hand path, if you can learn how to get your hands to accelerate correctly, how to create all that speed and lag and transfer that energy just at the last moment to the golf ball, your body will tend to do what it's supposed to do. Now, part of the reason why I think that we shifted a lot to the body was some of the early 3D stuff. Now, I'm guilty of this because I was one of those early 3D guys. And our first systems pretty much only measured either the thorax or the pelvis, right? If you look at the K-Vest, the original AMM, the original golf biodynamic system, they primarily measured the thorax and the pelvis. So we started to be able to measure what those were doing, and we'd tell you, hey, you need to move this differently. But going back to that blackboard analogy, it's hard to connect the two if you're not quite sure what your arm should be doing as well. So with the latest versions of either the Golf Biodynamics or the AMM, or if you have one of the expensive, Vicon optical systems, we can measure now how the arms and the hands are actually moving. And I have had a lot of success teaching people how to use their arms and hands correctly, which helps get the body to do the right things. Where I would reach roadblocks when I would give them the right exercises, I knew we could get the body moving, but the hands just wouldn't end up in the right position and they wouldn't hit the ball solidly. So you'll see in my site, I talk a lot about the details of how the arms and the hands work, because once you have a clear picture of how the arms and hands work, the body will unfold and make a whole lot more sense.